All right, everybody, welcome. And we are going to bring to the stage now a very exciting performer, Gus Connell.
Hello, everyone.
Woo, woo.
It's a lot of fun to do this to a Zoom audience. It really makes the experience so much fucking worse, but here we are. That was funny. But jumping right in, I tend to set a very specific tone with my comedy, so I'm going to try and keep going the same route, at least for this one. So there's this idea that there's no solutions in our society. We have a lot of problems. We understand problem. Everyone's got a problem. But like the idea of solutions, like institutional change solutions, is often talked about in hypotheticals and people just really sidestep it. But we have researchers, we have people who've spent their lives studying questions that really needed no one to study them. They've spent their entire life doing research to provide answers to very straightforward questions. No one needed to dedicate the time. Economic stress theory, sociological theory. Basically, being poor sucks. That's a sociology degree for you. Being poor sucks. That's economic stress theory. The stress from being poor sucks. Yeah, it's shit. Yeah, that's in new ways and layered ways and all the nuance of it. That's pretty much all that boils down to. But we have so much research that applies economic stress theory. Why? Like, just help them. Like, we spend a lot of money looking at a problem when we already know the answer. It's crazy to me that we now have to use research to justify very straightforward solutions. How do you stop homelessness? You give people houses. How do you stop hunger? You feed people. How do you deal with poverty? You pay people a living wage. If we substituted water in for wages, like let's just hypothetical, stick with me now. We get paid in water rations. Ta-da, that's the new society. And we said, hey, hello, Mr. Boss Man. The water rations you give me, I'm going to slowly die of dehydration. Won't be immediate. It's enough to live on for now, but you're going to slowly kill me. Sorry. And then the boss says, no, I don't think that's true. And it's like, what do you mean? I talked to the nurse, talked to the doctor, talked to everyone in town. Everyone agrees, you don't give me enough water rations, I'm going to die. No, I think you got that mistaken. And it's the absurdity of it all, the gall of it all. We say minimum wage in this country because we don't want to say living wage. It's a living wage. It's not a minimum wage. Minimum standard that we're let someone live at is the idea of it. But we hate the poor, but I'm not going to dig into that. We just hate the fucking poor. Thanks. Another institutional problem we have in this country is we don't do family planning. And family planning is a lot. But basically, family planning is deciding when you have a kid. That's it. It's a big, nice name for just making a plan. Because hopefully when you have a kid, you have a plan. Most people don't. Most people in America don't plan when they have their children. Fun little tidbit. My major is human development, family sciences. I've studied families. You're not the reason your parents got divorced. They had a bad marriage anyway, and the stress of having a child is why they split. Love each other right from the start. Hope that's okay to hear. That's how it breaks down. People don't divorce because they have kids. Kids are work. Kids are hard. If a marriage is going to break, it'll break after you have a kid. Oops. But I personally feel really lucky when it comes to family planning. I have God's best birth control. It's called homosexuality. It's pretty effective. It works. For the unlucky souls that suffer with heterosexuality, I would really advise safe sex. Maybe try that. Don't accidentally have a kid. But I really do hate when people call children a surprise or a miracle. It's like you had unsafe sex. It wasn't a surprise when I got gonorrhea. It wasn't a miracle when you had a kid. Sorry. You know, stand-up comedy and sex are very similar to me in that they both require a level of intimacy and vulnerability that pushes my limits and leaves me feeling a little self-conscious. So fun. I guess since I have no other good intro in, we're just going to jump in. I'm going to talk about prayer. So I hope everyone likes religion. I don't. I left it very immediately. I once said I had an abusive relationship with God, and I still stand by that sentiment. Prayer to me is honestly a little too queer for comfort. Prayer is very queer. It is. It is. I will say that. Tell me if you disagree. Don't, actually. But picture it. You're on your knees. You're looking up at a father figure, and you're begging him to come inside you. Honey, if you're willing to, add some well-timed moans in there, there can be a different type of salvation. I don't know. I've seen that porn. I don't need to live it. But I'm going to say something maybe controversial, maybe a hot take. I'm not going to imply what exactly I mean with it, but you'll understand what I mean. And let me know if I've gone too far. Just kidding. I don't care. Effectively, after crucifixion, Jesus, if he was willing, because he maintained the holes in his hands and his feet, would have been able to satisfy 7 of the apostles at a time. Just saying. You can't convince me there wasn't a little bit of queerness between Jesus and Judah, okay? Or Judas, that's it. Judas was definitely a wronged lover, okay? Jesus started to fuck Paul and then Judas cashed him in, okay? Hate to say it. Religion's an interesting thing with my family. My dad is very religious. I've forgiven him for it. We'll allow it. It brings him a lot of comfort. It does. And I don't really have an issue with religion as a personal practice. Institutionally, a lot of problems. Personal practice, if it gives you peace and you don't mess with other people, fine. My dad kind of understands that, but I don't know. He had me when he was 50. So my dad is effectively old enough to be my granddad. What happens when you have children late enough in life and you have old enough parents is that you effectively get this very short cycle where someone's always wiping someone else's ass. And I'm not really ready for my turn. It's coming. He doesn't take care of himself. He's a traditional Southern man, okay? My dad used to be a hippie and is now a Republican. Trust me, he's frustrating. He's mind-boggling frustrating. But my time's coming. I'm not ready for it, but it'll be here. With that has been my time. Y'all have been amazing.